She comes up with the steal and the basket.
Watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by New South Window Solutions.
And we moved across town for another episode of High School Hoops. Welcome to Choctaw High School for tonight's matchup, another top 5 matchup. The 5th-ranked PHS Pensacola High Fighting Tigers, ranked 5th in the state in Class 4A, against the Choctaw Indians on their home court. Choctaw ranked 2nd in Class 5A. Dan Shugart with Jeff Price, delighted to bring you tonight's boys basketball game after we had the tight game between Pine Forest and Fort Walton Beach girls earlier in the week. Tonight, two of the best teams, certainly two of the best teams in the area, if not the state, going at it tonight in a boys game at Choctaw. And Jeff, we have size, there's speed on both teams. Choctaw really, really deep, and they're going to go with, we just heard that Amarion Pettis, one of the better all-around players who's been nursing an injury, will be available to go tonight. And so we have some top individual players and top teams, and Pettis is one of the best.
Yeah, he's got to be. But when you look at Choctaw, there's a couple guys you want to look at. Jamil Bowles, Ezra McKenna. Those are guys that combined for 34 points last time in this matchup, which, by the way, went in Choctaw's favor. And another note, Choctaw's undefeated at home.
Now, Choctaw is undefeated at home. They're 13-1 overall. They've won 10 in a row. Their only loss was to Escambia, who's putting together quite a season and quite a story. PHS comes into the game with a 10-2 record. They lost to Choctaw. They were shorthanded that night, missing a couple of players. We'll have more on that a little bit later on. But PHS, Isaiah Gaines, big guy, number 23, really the man they look to.
Yeah, averages 14 points a game. And I'm telling you, this matchup last time had 14 points. He is the catalyst for this PHS offense.
All right, Choctaw and PHS, our tip-off's coming right up. Well, they're in there. Quite a show they put on at Choctaw as they introduce their starting lineups here. The Choctaw Indians turn out the lights and, well, get things started probably in as dramatic a fashion as anyone could hope.
This is about as good as it gets.
Starting lineups tonight, and we're actually paying attention to the Choctaw starting lineup because there was a question as to who would start, and Amarion Pettis is indeed starting tonight. But let's take a look at the starting lineup first of all for the Pensacola High Fighting Tigers. Starting in the backcourt is Taiwan Thomas, the point guard. Nikayo Blackman is starting at guard. He is there in place of Emmanuel McDuffie, who's the injured player, still not back, nursing a foot injury. He missed the first meeting. And Caleb Young also missed the first meeting, had a concussion he suffered in the Christmas tournament earlier in the tournament, and then PHS reached the championship game against Choctaw. They did not have Young, they did not have McDuffie for that game, and they still don't have McDuffie. And then Tidarius Scully and Isaiah Gaines, fellow we talked about. That's your starting 5 for Pensacola High, brought to you by Smith Family Carpets. For Choctaw, Isaiah Bledsoe and Ezra McKenna. McKenna, the number 4, terrific outside shooter going to the Air Force Academy. Javaris Young, outstanding athlete, as is Jamil Bowles, who kind of runs the show much of the time. And Amarion Pettis, who's nursing a hamstring. They tested it last night in an overtime win at Crestview. Choctaw went to Crestview, and Pettis played that night just to see how he'd feel and how he would hold up. And Choctaw had to go overtime to beat Crestview, who's really become a much better basketball team in the last month or so. And first possession and going to the free throw line will be Taiwan Thomas as he draws the personal foul on Amarion Pettis, which could be significant there. Pettis, really the ball hawk on a Choctaw defense that likes to force a lot of turnovers and get out and run. Taiwan Thomas, the 5'8" senior guard. And free throw shooting an issue for PHS all year. As a team, they're shooting a tick under 50% as a team. Taiwan Thomas, 62% from the line this year, but he goes 0-2.
Yes, anytime you can get 3 points against Choctaw, you got to take advantage. And look at the wide open shot, baby. Isaiah
Bledsoe, who we were told was shaken up a bit last night. He got injured last night, so showed no signs of it there. 3-0 Choctaw. That is Ty Gully out front. Number 3 is Blackman. Now down the lane, there's Gaines going with the left hand. And Gully on the boards. And tipped up and in by,
I believe it was Isaiah Gaines.
Maybe, I'm not sure. We'll check to see who they give it to. Is that 23 or 21? We'll find out. Three-pointer on the way from McKenna. Best pure shooter on the team. And just like that, it's 6-2.
Well, expect a lot of that with Choctaw. You give them an open shot behind the three-point range, they're going to take it just about every single time.
The Pensacola State College three-point shot, they've got 2 of them. Double team on Gaines down low, and Choctaw. And now they get it back to Gaines, and that will leave Blackman open, but he's going to turn it over and then get it back. That's a 2-pointer on the way, and the rebound is tipped and goes too far and goes to Gaines. It's a nice play by Young. He couldn't control it, and then PHS throws it in the backcourt. Young couldn't control the rebound, so he tipped it. He thought to a teammate, went too far. And then PHS turned it over anyway. PHS turns it over 17 times a game.
Yeah, some things, obviously, when you get to the playoffs, you've got to be able to cut down, and you cannot afford turnovers against Choctaw.
All right, I'm going to... And there's another McKenna 3.
It's like clockwork at this point.
Pensacola State College three-pointer from Ezra McKenna, who will attend the Air Force Academy next year. Actually, I've got to apologize to PHS. They turned it over 13 times a game, not 17. A little more manageable.
There you go.
Caleb Young, his short jumper is on the way and good. Caleb Young, terrific offensive player, averaging about 11 and a half. And the question for him, there's long 3 on the way. That's by Bowles, and it's pulled off. Here comes PHS, down by 5 here in the first 2.5 minutes. Caleb Young, a junior, and the question for him is, he's been sitting out since the concussion he suffered at Christmas break, so they're a little concerned in drawing the foul inside. That's Gaines, got it to him on the block. You can't let him have it there, and McKenna's the one who called for the foul.
Yeah, great job by Gaines right there. Going up strong. McKenna trying to just get the ball, but gets a little bit of the wrist as well.
So Isaiah Gaines is the best free throw shooter on the court for Pensacola High at 65%. And PHS now 0 for 3 from the line tonight. Spins that one in, so gets 1 out of 2, and it's a 9-5 Choctaw lead. Nice backdoor pass off the hand, out of bounds. Choctaw turns it over, trying to get it to Amarion Pettis.
PHS wants to go fast,
which suits Choctaw, suits both teams, and they both. And there's a near turnover. It comes back out to Caleb Young. Over the wing to Blackman. Gaines cut off nicely by McKenna. And they'll back it up again. Inside 5 minutes here in the first quarter. Young gets it off to Gully. The rebound pulled off by Young. Bledsoe back out. McKenna, long 3, and that's off the mark. He can hit him out there. We've seen him hit several from another 5 feet back. That's not really a bad shot. There's the lob. Gaines does a nice job to control it and score it, and he'll go to the line. Boy, he didn't get the spectacular dunk, but he did a terrific job corralling it, and then a chance for a 3-point play.
And that's McKenna's second foul already in this game.
Boy, and off the front iron and in. Well, the front iron will help you out. Back iron doesn't go in very often. If you're going to miss short or long, you're better off missing a little short. You might get a roll.
Oh yeah, I was a back iron warrior. That's why I no longer play.
All right, it's a 1-point game now. Choctaw raced to a quick 7-point lead, but it's now a 6-0 run by PHS. Inside, there's Brian Graham with a little left-handed hook, and That'll come off, and a foul in the backcourt. So Choctaw's called for their 4th foul, and that is Bledsoe.
That'll be Bledsoe's first.
Mitch McKenna has 2, and he's out now, and Grant's in. Grant knocked that ball loose and goes to Young, saves it. Blackman finds Young in the corner. And again, good patience by Pensacola High. That was one of Terrence Harris's head coach's concerns about the team, was good possessions, not rushing shots. And so far, they've shown good patience, especially against a team that likes to play pressure defense. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, and that ball will stay with PHS, as Javaris Young cannot control it.
Yeah, PHS is getting some decent looks. If they could hit at the free throw line, they'd be leading this ball game right now.
We need to take a timeout here in the next dead ball when we get a chance. Three-pointer on the way. That is good, and PHS has the lead. That's Caleb Young. 8:27 to play in the first quarter. It's now a 9-0 run. Young lost that out of bounds. Timeout on the floor. We do. We will take a timeout here. 3:18 to play first quarter, and Pensacola High 9-0 run has taken an 11-9 lead here on Hill Kelly High School Hoops.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by New South Window Solutions.
Whipstone Barnett fan cam. Crowd here at Choctaw is enjoying the ball game. Inside to Grant. He will try to muscle it up, and he'll draw the foul. Foul inside on Gully. Darius Gully, the senior. So going to the line, Brian Grant for Choctaw. And that's the back iron we're talking about, Jeff. He's 58% on the year.
I was telling you earlier, it's must be nice when you can sub out Ezra McKenna at 6'7" and put in Mr. Grant at 6'8".
Off the mark there, so 0 for 2 for Grant, and it remains a 2-point Pensacola High lead. You know, it's Grant guarding 30 feet out and staying with him. And then those 2 feet go inside. He's really a tough hombre. Of course, his dad, Brad Grant, coached at Pine Forest, got them to the Final Four a couple of years back in the early part of the decade, 11 and 12. In fact, those 2 teams for Pine Forest, coached by Brad Grant, who is now an assistant coach here, helping coach his son, beat Choctaw. The first 2 Choctaw teams that Andy Thigpen took to the playoffs lost to Brad Grant Pine Forest teams that went on to the Final Four. And now Brad Grant's coaching the JV and helping out with the varsity and helping coach his son Brian, who's a force on this team. Sucks it out of bounds into the lineup. That's Jace Brown. Keep an eye on number 0 for Choctaw. He's a sophomore, 5'11", and he is a joy to watch. He's one of those guys who doesn't play like a sophomore. He plays like a coach's son, which is exactly what he is. His dad, Don Brown, is the outstanding coach of the Choctaw girls program here. Down low double team against that zone. That's Taiwan Thomas. He's trying to drive the baseline and shut off nicely by Grant. Really good patience by PHS. About to dribble into some trouble, though. And saving it. Gaines. And he will draw the foul on Grant.
They got that on 12.
Oh, and Elijah Johnson in the lineup. Yeah, so they're going in with a big lineup right now. Is Choctaw. We talked about the versatility of these teams. Choctaw more depth than PHS has, but they're both capable of getting production from quick backcourts or talented big men. Gaines hits the free throw, and it is now a 10-0 run.
I got nobody.
Gets them both. 6 points for Isaiah Gaines. It's a 4-point PHS lead. Jace Brown for 3. Grant flying in for the rebound.
Great rebound by Grant right there.
Calls timeout to avoid the 5-second call. So they take the timeout. I think it's going to be a 30-second timeout, so they'll keep it right here. 1:57 to play first quarter. PHS on an 11-0 run. Looked like they were almost going to get shot out of the gym in a hurry, down 9-2, but they've run off 11 straight.
Yeah, when you look at how Choctaw started the game with the three-pointers, I mean, like you said, you thought that they fixed the run PHS out of the gym. But PHS has done a great job on the defensive side, trying to force them to be able to get some more uncomfortable shots, trying to work down low, but playing great defense down low. On the offensive side, the patience you talked about, that's the difference in the ball game right now. You mentioned it. Choctaw wants to go fast. The majority of the time, that benefits them. They got that big lineup in there right now. And PHS, they may not have the size on the court at the moment, but they are battling.
We talked, you look at all the depth, and it's always a concern when you have a team that has the kind of talent and deep talent. I mean, this second team, everybody who comes in that second wave has a legitimate reason to ask, why am I not playing more? But Andy Thigpen said this team is the closest team he's ever had. I mean, guys, all of them get along. Everyone accepts their role. Boy, you can do a lot of good things if your kids have that kind of attitude, especially if you have the talent to go with it. All right, they're going out with it's a trap in the half court, and PHS did a nice job of breaking that. Good pass by Gully to Gaines. Gaines in double figures with 10 already.
Well, he had 14 last matchup. He is looking like he's going to average 40 in this one.
15-9 PHS on a 13-0 run in the last 6 minutes. Ball knocked loose, and Gaines goes to the floor and saves it. Great play all the way around. There's Young. He'll pull up. That's his shot. Especially if it gets the roll. 7 points for him.
The two-man show for PHS.
And that ball's deflected out of bounds. Nicely done by Taiwan Thomas. Thomas, just over a minute to go, 61 seconds to play in what has turned into a really good first quarter for PHS. Jamil Bowles comes out. So does Tariq Pitts. Into the lineup now. 24 is Kyle Webb. You got the young backcourt. There's a foul, and going to the line will be Jace Brown as he draws the foul on Gully, I believe.
That's correct. That'll be a second.
And that is one difference in the two teams, is the depth. If PHS gets into some foul trouble, especially inside, and Gully has 2, that could be a big factor. Brown to the free throw line.
Knocks down the first.
58% from the line this year. Just a sophomore.
Good-looking sophomore.
Yeah, I tell you what, if they get out running, when he runs the floor and distributes from there, he can really put on a show passing the ball. Well, that stops the run. It was a 15-0 PHS run. Gaines does a nice job to not travel, but Dribble got away from it. 4-pointers off the line. Elijah Johnson couldn't control the rebound, but he kept Gaines away from the board. So you got Grant and Johnson, the two big guys in there. This is the big lineup, and Johnson turns it over. Laying it up, can't get it to go, and tipped up, and finally controlled. Is it? How many chances did you get inside? Blackman is the one who had the steal in the initial chance, and now the steal and the foul on Blackman. And Kyle Webb came up with a steal with 10 seconds to go, and will go to the line.
Well, that definitely saved some points right there. That was going to be easy pickings.
Actually, yeah, they're not in the bonus, so it did save some points. And Choctaw's going to inbound it with 10.4 seconds to go. All right, chance for Choctaw, down 6 here in the final 10 seconds to get the last shot. Webb will take it. Or check that, that's Brown. Jace Brown walked down a long 3.
Talk about looking out for him. 4
3-pointers for Choctaw. They kept themselves in the game. Down 3 after the first quarter. 17-14. PHS by 3 on Hill Kelly High School Hoops.
You're You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by New South Window Solutions.
Here we go, second quarter of play, and it's got a tough act to follow. Great first quarter, PHS with a 3-point lead, 17-14. Choctaw led by 7 at 9-2. PHS went on a 15-0 run. There's a long three by Brown, and the rebound pulled off by Shandaris Washington into the lineup for PHS to start the second quarter. And his runner and scores. That is Blackman.
We were just talking about it during the break. It's got to be key for PHS to be able to get more out of some other guys outside of Isaiah Gaines.
Nice along the baseline, and the shot is pulled down. Rebound is pulled down. Great job rebounding by Blackman. There's a Young, that's off the mark. Rebound batted around, and Brown comes down with it. PHS doing a good job getting back defensively, but man, Choctaw is so quick. Even when they delay the start of the break, they still get up the floor in a hurry, and all those spot-up shooters, they can really hurt you even with a secondary break. And there's a nice deflection, and let's see if Tywan Thomas cannot convert at the other end. Made it a tougher shot than he probably needed to. He deflected the ball, and good job getting back defensively by Choctaw. Okay, there's Webb, 24. And there's Jace Brown again. Isaiah Gaines runs down the rebound. He's energized tonight. Terrence Harris says Isaiah Gaines, if maybe the one thing holding him back from just being, and he's already good, but just being an almost unstoppable force is sometimes the energy level's not there. And if he picks that up, boy, he's a major college talent. Off the line, Blackman misses the long shot. They don't mind him taking that shot. Caleb Young will go to the line as he drives. Blackman, number 3. And they draw the foul on Elijah Johnson. That's his second.
It's another big man for, obviously, Choctaw. Got a couple fouls here. Ezra McKenna had to go out early with 2 fouls.
Caleb Young to the free throw line, where again missed a lot of action with the concussion over the Christmas break in the tournament here, and this is his first game back since then. And he's now 5 for 14 from the free throw line, so he's another one of those guys who struggled from the line, but long way to go. Small sample size. Those two look good.
Ezra McKenna checked back in for the Indians.
And the lead back up to 7 for PHS. McKenna, who hit those 2 long threes that got Choctaw off to that early 9-2 lead. And again, Pensacola High comes up with a turnover. Shandaris Washington, the one who knocked it loose and chased it down. Thomas, that's Young. Washington slashing and scoring.
Great ball movement right there. Goodness gracious.
That's the biggest lead of the night for PHS. It's up to 9 at 23-14. Ball gets away, and that one is stolen. Blackman. Again, they're not rushing their possessions. They haven't had, they've had not too many bad possessions. They'll go to the line there. Gaines draws the foul as he goes baseline. And
called that on Asa Newell.
Asa Newell, the freshman, 6'8" freshman, and keep an eye on 14. He's one of those guys who over the next 3.5 years is trying to make a name for himself. 6'8", freshman, terrific talent. He'll come out, and back in replacing him is Isaiah Bledsoe. Also back in is Javaris Young, so a couple of seniors back in. Gaines with another free throw. 1 out of 2, tipped up and in by Young. Wow.
Hey, when it's going your way, it's going your way.
That's a heck of a play. McKenna. And foul before the basket.
That'll be on Gaines. It's his first.
There's a question at the scorer's table. I'm not sure. I think Terrence Harris was questioning who drew the foul at the other end of the court. I'm not sure. Oh, I know what it is. It's the scoreboard. The scoreboard is one short because they had a free throw to make it 24, and then when Young tipped it in for 2, it should be 26-14. I'm sure that's what they're arguing. So it should be 26-14, and they do. They correct the scoreboard. That's exactly what THS was talking about. So, ready to go with a 12-point Tiger lead. Jamil Bowles back in. Takes it down the lane, knocked loose and stolen, and actually foul on Caleb Young. Knocked it loose, but he got a hand. Heating and air conditioning replay. And you can see Young was off, ready to take off the other end of the floor, but good call, got a hand on him. Inside and scoring.
Great job.
That's Amarian Pettis. They needed that. They also need him. Young.
Great job.
Nicely by McKenna, his second block. And now they're kind of mixing it up in the backcourt. But now McKenna gets into the front court. And a three-point opportunity for Choctaw. Great job going to the baseline. And the foul is on Taiwan Thomas. And a three-point chance for Isaiah Bledsoe, the 6'4" senior.
You just feel the momentum swinging right now. That's exactly what Choctaw needed, going back to their style of game here.
And a three-point play, and a big one for Bledsoe. And suddenly a 10-point PHS lead is down to 7.
Great rebound by Gaines.
Foul in the backcourt, or a foul on, as Gaines was dribbling out of there, I should say.
It's going to be on Bledsoe, I believe.
It is indeed. That's his second. So Gaines, who's done some damage from the line. I've seen him have some pretty good nights. This might be the best all-around I've seen him play.
Yeah, the effort's definitely there, the energy. He is up for the matchup tonight.
And hits both free throws. McKenna. Bowles, he's a good three-point shooter, but he takes it to the hoop instead. And Gaines is there to pull down the rebound and draw the foul on Javaris Young. One thing Choctaw, what PHS has taken away, Choctaw goes to the basket a lot and they hit the offensive boards, and usually that's a huge advantage for them. And it could be a huge advantage for them tonight, except for the fact PHS doing a heck of a job blocking people off the boards and going and getting the ball.
Yeah, everybody doing their job. That's all it takes. You see the Pensacola Energy free throw right here. Isaiah Gaines is taking control, and everybody else following suit for the Tigers.
It is. 12 for 14 from the line is PHS tonight. Check that, 12 for 16.
Way above average.
Yeah. (29-19), 10-point lead. Biggest lead was 12 at 26-14. Biggest Choctaw lead was 7 at 9-2. Inside of 4 minutes here in the second quarter. Bowles with it, shut off nicely defensively by Young. Jamil Bowles, nice shot. And now question. delay of game warning on Choctaw. Keith Bradshaw is our referee, and our officials are from the Emerald Coast Officials Association. Keith Bradshaw, the referee, who just came to the table. Chris Taylor and Zach Kula, our other officials tonight.
Choctaw getting a little bit of a half-court press.
Yep. PHS done a nice job against the trap when they've seen it. Ended up with a three-point play last time. Broke that trap. The fouls on Bowles. That's Jamil's first foul, 3:19 to play. And Tidarius Gully at the free throw line. He has struggled from the line at under 50%, but makes that one.
That's his first points tonight.
This is the 9th trip to the free throw line tonight. 9th trip as far as total trips, not number of shots. And PHS has not shot themselves out of the game from the line. Three-pointer on the way. That's off the mark. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Choctaw. Crashing the boards nicely down there was Isaiah Bledsoe, and kept possession with the Indians. 9-point game, 3:07 to play in the second quarter. Inbound, Young's jumper's good.
Beautiful shot.
Try to take a timeout next dead ball. And again, that trap extended. Bledsoe. And here's the, you could, when you talk about Choctaw's size, they got big guys inside, but they've got good length around the court. But I tell you, PHS did a nice job with the pressure, and that ball is going to be, the ball is going to belong to Choctaw. So we've got to take a break right here at 2:38 to play second quarter, and PHS leads Choctaw 30-23 on Hill Kelly High School Hoops.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by New South Window Solutions.
2:38 to play in the first half of what's been a really terrific first half of basketball. A bit surprising with the Choctaw fans there on the Whipstone Barnett fan cam. As the Choctaw Indians race to a 9-2 lead. They've won 10 in a row, and they've looked better each night out, although they went overtime at Crestview. Great game there last night. Crestview playing a lot better. A lot of teams really playing better in the last couple of weeks. Crestview's one of them. They started really bad. They won in 6, I believe it was. Lost 6 of their first 7, but they were one of the 2 teams to beat Pensacola High back on the 28th of December. But so again, back in the zone, little 2-3 zone. Baseline jumper is too long. Shot taken by Gaines. Here comes Choctaw the other way with it. Young. And he'll go to the line with 2:14 to play. Go to the line to shoot 2. That foul was on Tywan Thomas. I believe that's his second. It is. It's the 6th foul on PHS. Choctaw's been called for 10 here in the first half. So Javaris Young goes to the free throw line. 60%.
You got to love the energy PHS has come out with tonight. They've done about half their damage from the floor and half their damage from the free throw line, but they're pretty much getting every shot they kind of want to get, not really forcing anything.
1 out of 2 for Young. He's a 58% free throw shooter. He pulls Choctaw within 6 at 30-24. These last 2 minutes are really important. I think more important for in a way, more important for PHS because they've done so much good work. And if they don't give up, as the follow in by Gaines on the Washington miss, or rather that's Gully who followed it in. Gully. Delay of game warning on PHS, so each team now has a delay of game warning. Nice follow by Gully there. But for PHS, if Choctaw makes a run here and turns it into a 2 or 3 point, 4 point game, they're going to feel really good about themselves going to the locker room at the half. But PHS on the McKenna miss has the 8-point lead in the ball with 1:40 to go. terrific first half for the Tigers. Again, good patience against the pressure.
You work the clock if you're PHS.
Exactly. Thomas will back it up. And again, what this does, well, I was going to say, it's knocked loose by Young. 3-on-1, and then throws it down around the feet. Isaiah Bledsoe couldn't control it. So Choctaw an opportunity. As you can say, what PHS is doing with not only is it good patience offensively, but they're not allowing Choctaw 3 or 4 possessions in the final minute and a half. And then they turned it over, but it came up empty for the Indians.
And you saw Isaiah Bledsoe right there after the turnover, trying to get his team fired up. He getting a little aggravated. These guys aren't used to this.
Washington drives and rebound pulled down by McKenna. Foul in the backcourt. Foul on whom? If that's Thomas, that's 3. Nope, it's not. Foul is on
Bledsoe.
Bledsoe, it is indeed. It's his 3rd.
See some frustration by Choctaw right here. Once again, I said before, the 6-0 at home. Right now, the way PHS is playing, you think they were back in Pensacola.
So go to the free throw line is Taiwan Thomas, 62% on the year. .48 seconds to go, and now Bledsoe comes out with 3 fouls and replaced by Jace Brown, who I suspect we'll see a lot of in the second half. 8-point Tiger lead. Thomas gets 1 out of 2. Bowles long 3. Pounding the boards and scoring inside is Pettis. Big basket by Pettis. Trap in the corner, but DHS gets out of trouble and ends up Washington with the basket and a terrific assist by Thomas. Backing it up for the last shot. That's Bowles. Here McKenna. Bowles will probably take the, well, he gets it over to Brown and a little runner. Nice shot. How good is that? And so Choctaw gets that measure of protest right before the half. They're within striking distance, 35-28. But it has been a terrific first half, and especially a terrific first half for the Pensacola High Tigers. They lead it by 7 here at intermission on Hill Kelly High School Hoops. The Pensacola State College halftime report is coming up.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by New South Window Solutions.
Welcome at halftime here, the Pensacola State College halftime report from Choctaw High School, where Pensacola High leads Choctaw 35-28 here at the half. Terrific first half of basketball. I don't think PHS could ask for much more as far as a first half performance, especially after Choctaw raced to a 9-2 lead. PHS ran off 15 in a row to take a 17-9 lead, and they have led throughout. And this is 2 really proud programs playing here tonight. The Northwest Florida State College Community Spotlight falls on both of these programs, Choctaw and Pensacola High. Choctaw has gone to 4 Final Fours, most recently in 2018 when they lost in the championship game to Doral Academy, and clear thinkers everywhere who saw that game really felt Choctaw received no favors from officiating that afternoon. It was really difficult, a difficult loss in the state championship game. They were, I think, decidedly the best team, certainly in the Final Four that year, 2018. Pensacola High has the 4 state championships, most recently 1966, and their most recent trip to the Final Four, 2016, when they lost by 2 to Largo in the state semifinal. So these 2 teams, these 2 programs, really have enjoyed a lot of success over the years, and they are our Northwest Florida State College Community Spotlight. We're also glad this year and this actually starting next week, bring you the Whibstone Barnett Law Firm 2021 High School Hoops A+ Athlete Award. We'll start that next week in our broadcast from Central High School. We'll showcase a student from each one of our home team schools that exemplifies the hard work and dedication of a student athlete. The Whibstone Barnett Law Firm understands the value of education and teamwork that is gained through high school sports, and that's why they are a proud supporter of student athletes everywhere. And look for the Whibstone Barnett A+ Athletes of the Week starting next week at Central and in the weeks ahead. It is the Pensacola State College halftime report from Choctaw, where Pensacola High leads Choctaw 35-28. We'll be back. Pensacola High's back on the court. Choctaw not back yet. Andy Thigpen obviously had a little more to tell his team. Down 7 at the half, 35-28. PHS leading by 7 at the half. More from the Pensacola State College halftime report when we come back.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by New South Window Solutions.
All right, some scoring totals here, Jeff, in the first half. The number that really jumps out at me is Pensacola High, 49% free throw shooting team, has hit 12 of 19 from the line, 63%. That's that makes a huge difference when they can foul you and you can make them pay.
Yeah, that's the difference in the ball game right now. You look at the difference up at the scoreboard there. Obviously, if they don't make that, well, you're looking at a Choctaw lead. But hey, PHS has came out. They've done what they needed to do on the boards. And I tell you what, one thing you said earlier I thought was very, very true. Great point was the fact of PHS not allowing Choctaw to get the offensive boards.
They did indeed. Leading the way for PHS, Isaiah Gaines with 14. Caleb Young has 12. Balanced scoring for Choctaw, led by Jace Brown with 7. We'll be back with the second half in a minute.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by New South Window Solutions.
All right, we're about ready to get going here in the second half. Interesting to see how Choctaw responds to the gauntlet that PHS threw down in that first half. As we mentioned, Choctaw hit those 3 early three-pointers and led 9-2 about 2.5 minutes into the game. PHS went on a 15-0 run, which they extended to a 24-5 run, which opened up a 26-14 lead. And the 12-point lead, the largest lead of the half, Choctaw pulled back within 7. So they whittled away 5 points there. We'll see how they respond here early in the second half. Ezra McKenna is going to take inbound for Choctaw, number 4. Jamil Bowles, a fellow senior, is out there as well. Also on the floor, Isaiah Bledsoe, number 1, is back in. He's playing with 3 fouls as we start the half. Javaris Young and Amarion Pettis. So it is the same starting 5 to start the second half for Choctaw. Isaiah Gaines, obviously, and Gully, 23 and 21. That's Taiwan Thomas, the point 0. Blackman, and their three-pointer is good by Pettis. That is the 5th three-pointer Choctaw has hit, and now they extend the pressure into the backcourt. And again, Caleb Young will pull up for the jumper and can't get it to go. Tipped up and in nicely by Gaines. Wow.
That's a great start for Gaines.
McKenna kicks it back out to Bowles. Young. Nice job blocking off the boards by Gaines as he kept Ezra McKenna on his back. And ahead of the pack, Gully. Gully converts.
There it is.
I tell you what, that's a nice sign for Gully, because the catch, keeping it, avoiding the travel, and then converting is, the whole side of it is something he's had a little trouble doing. And there's a foul in the backcourt as Amarion Pettis, and he grabs that hamstring or groin. He's been nursing that injury. We weren't sure he was going to go tonight, and he is not. And he's looking to the bench now. I'm not sure if he's going to stay in the game. He might have tweaked it a little bit. But
it looks like Coach wants him to stay in here, but you're right. He is obviously reaching for it a little bit.
I'm not sure they saw it. I'm not sure the coaches saw it. Or maybe he was just, I'm not sure he was beckoning to come out, because I think he would have been a little more animated, a little more certain about it. Now a good ball movement. Gully will not take that shot. That's good discipline. Young will take it.
That is just textbook. That is textbook right there.
If PHS plays like this, with this kind of discipline, and falls off the mark on Pettis' jumper, and here comes PHS again, up by 11 and going to the line, missing the slam, but picking himself up quickly. His gains, he'll go to the line. And the foul is on Amarion Pettis.
He's picked up a couple here. It's his third.
It is his third.
Well, I was interested to see how Gaines was going to come out in the second half. I'm telling you, this entire PHS team has come out with that same fire.
Well, they have been one of those, when they get going, I mean, it's the same thing with shooting and just with all playing. When they get a little momentum, they can really ride that. And they made that run in the first quarter. 2 free throws by Gaines. And they're now 14 for 21 for the line, 67%. And the lead is 13. It's their biggest of the night. Nice follow. It doesn't go. The rebound pulled down by Young, and he is fouled. But on the floor, not putting the shot up. The foul is called on Blackman, Nikayo Blackman.
Got that as his second.
9-0 run for PHS. McKenna. Foul. Is it? There is a foul, I believe. Or is it? It's open hands. Yeah, it is a foul call. Foul's called on Nikayo Blackman on the baseline.
That'll be his third. He'll come out.
And replaced by Shandaris Washington, Jr. So Blackman, the senior, comes out. Washington, not quite the shooter that Blackman can be, but they haven't been shooting a lot. They haven't shot a three. They haven't made a three tonight. So they've been doing it slashing and good patience on offense and getting a good shot. Not from the outside that much. Bowles, nice follow, and it doesn't go. Wow, McKenna was there. And you've got to be careful not to pick up the foul. Now PHS is running 2-on-1. Beautifully, and a foul call. Wow. Foul on Javaris Young. He thought he had all ball. Take a look at that.
Boy, that was a beating instant replay. It looked pretty good.
So Caleb Young to the line.
Young's got 15 so far.
And now 16. And they just keep stretching the lead. It's 46-31. Bowles. And he'll go to the line. The foul's called on Caleb Young.
That'll be Young's second.
When PHS and Choctaw met over Christmas, PHS was 8-0 and ranked #1 in the state coming into that game, and took a 13-point loss as Bowles makes the free throw. And then they lost their next time out 5 days later on the 28th of December to Crestview. Bowles gets them both. So but they're hanging around the top 5. But this is about as impressive a performance I think they've probably had all year. The whistle before the shot attempt, the dunk.
That'll be on Bledsoe, and that'll be his fourth.
That's 4 on Bledsoe. And we may see Jace Brown here again.
Yep.
Kind of figured we would see a lot of him in the second half as Bledsoe got into some first half foul trouble. Yeah, could have been an offensive foul on the screen. Young's no good. The rebound comes off and running the court.
Oh.
Young runs it down, and he stepped on the baseline. Wow. A couple of opportunities Choctaw's had to kind of maybe seize a little bit of momentum with a turnover, forcing a turnover and a break, and both times bad passes have short-circuited that. Pettis is in, Bowles is out, Grant comes in, so you have Grant, McKenna, Pettis and Brown and Bowles. That's your lineup right now for Choctaw. And they trap again. They get it to Gaines. Washington can't get it to go as he was challenged by McKenna. Grant pulls down the rebound.
Yeah, I think McKenna got a hand on it, just enough.
And he'll take it.
Great job.
You know, he hit those 2 3-pointers early, then missed a couple, and that was just a smart play right there. There's a foul in the backcourt, McKenna.
Yep.
McKenna's got a bit of a mean streak in him. Very competitive, and he's called for the foul. Oh, check that. They're going to call that on Pettis. I thought it was going to be McKenna crashing into him. Instead, it's Pettis. A timeout on the floor. And let's take the timeout with them. 4:28 to play third quarter. 46-35 PHS on Hill Kelly High School Hoops.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by New South Window Solutions.
Well, some of these fans here at Choctaw and the Whipstone Barnett fan camp a little stunned right now. Their team, they're not used to seeing their team lose. They haven't seen them lose on this floor all year, and they're down 11 with 4:28 to play here in the third. Brings it back. See if he's trying to slow it down a little bit. There's Gaines. And that went off and Indian out of bounds. Choctaw bench is screaming for a travel, but he lost the ball, I think, before he traveled.
Yeah, I agree.
That ball is almost stolen by Brown. Chased down by Thomas. And then Brown knocks it out of bounds. And again, the Choctaw bench cheering Jace Brown, their sophomore point guard. Good hustle, and I think some of them thought he had knocked it off of Thomas. I think they thought he had picked up the turnover, forced the turnover.
Jace Brown's a good-looking sophomore.
He really is. Nice job by PHS against the pressure, and then the ball deflected out of bounds by McKenna. It will be interesting to see. I would expect Choctaw to make some kind of a run. And it'll be interesting to see how PHS handles that pressure if they get it.
Got to weather the storm.
You just kind of get the feeling that Choctaw is going to have some sort of run, put some sort of pressure on, and there they go. Bulls.
That's a start.
That's 6 straight points now for Choctaw. Gaines, and he'll go to the line. He split the defenders, McKenna and Grant, who got the foul. It is McKenna, and so that's number 4 on Ezra McKenna.
Gaines has done a great job at the line tonight. Yep, I said it.
Nicely done. Way to go, Jeff.
Sorry, Mr. Gaines.
Up off the bench into the game now. Wholesale substitutions all the way around. So he gets 1 out of 2. Lead is 10, 47-37. Still a lot of time, 3:20 to go in the third. And spread out the PHS zone, and they've got some 3-point shooters, and that might be a walk. It is a walk. Jaden Newell, the junior, older brother of Asa Newell. And Jaden just came into the game. So the foul trouble, which we thought might be an issue for PHS if they picked up some fouls, is becoming an issue for Choctaw.
Yeah, McKenna's got 1 more.
That's the ball that was short, and everybody knew it. Caleb Young, and there's Coming out with Jace Brown, finds a trailer Johnson, and Elijah Johnson will go to the line.
That'll be on Gully. He's third. Elijah Johnson. That's a big young man right there.
He is indeed. Of course, he and Grant, both juniors, they both played as freshmen, and then Johnson didn't play most of last year, had a few issues, and just kind of got those taken care of. And back now. Eli is now a 50% free throw shooter, 16 for 32. It's hard to have both back irons, so you're not gonna get a bounce there. Nice job. That's Thomas goes around Johnson, and there's blocked by Grant as he got the block shot, but PHS recovers. Thomas, nicely done, and Grant, a hard foul that time. And it'll be Gully going to the line.
Grant comes in like a wrecking ball. Oh my goodness.
Well, he is, and you know, it really is funny. It's the Andy Thigpen said, I'm not sure I'd like to know the Brian Grant basketball player, but he's as nice a kid, great student, terrific kid off the court, but he is so competitive on the court. Gully, who has struggled from the line this year, although tonight we ought to probably retire that narrative because that hadn't been a factor for PHS. And he got the second of them. Well, the lead was 7 after at the start of the quarter, and PHS has stretched it to 11. Johnson.
There it is. Mr. Johnson's first points of the night.
Gaines. Boy, lucky to get that back. Now Gully's double team. They might need a timeout here, but he gets it to Gaines. Under 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. PHS hanging onto the ball and milking the clock. And out she goes. Well, that was a nice idea by Gaines. And you get a feel. Here's a guy, a lot of size, and he puts the ball on the floor. He can handle it well. That's improved. That was not a bad pass, but Gully not quite able to handle it. Choctaw really needs a basket. A minute and a half to go. The third. Brown. That's off the line. Oh, a little off perfect.
That's your guy right there. You warned us about him. So look out for Jace Brown.
And there's a foul. It's going to be either on Grant or Johnson, as Gully will go to the line. And that is on Elijah Johnson.
That's his third.
So he has 3. Pettis has got 3. Bledsoe and McKenna each with 4. Grant, I believe, has 2 or 3.
Yeah, Grant has 2.
Check out Caleb Young going to the line, but not Gully. So Young gets them both.
He's got 18 tonight.
50 to 42. Jace Brown blocked and recovered and saved.
Block.
Bowles, that was Jamil Bowles getting back defensively. He loves that. And now, if Choctaw gets a basket here, this could be the start of something here in the final minute of the third quarter. And that's what PHS really has to guard against, is letting him get a run. Bowles looked at the 3, but nice recovery by Thomas. And there is Asanul. That's off the mark. Bowles will go to the free throw line with 38 seconds to go in the third.
Boy, Jamil Bowles has just done such a great job tonight battling back here in the second half. And boy, this last 38 seconds is so vitally important for Choctaw. Bowles will knock down the first one. There we go. Bowles having once again. He's got 5 points in this second half so far. It's Performance Prosthetics and Orthotics. Free throw.
So 50-44, it's a 6-point ball game. Caleb Young going to do a little scoreboard checking. Jason Peoples is wearing 14, and PHS throws it away with 22 to go in the quarter, and a chance for Choctaw to pull within 4.
This is what you were talking about. The last couple minutes so vitally important to Choctaw, and you're seeing right now starting to battle back to within 6.
So Choctaw, 11 seconds to go as they get things started. 6 as he starts to dribble. Bowles looking. Brown. He hit another runner. He did it at the end of the first quarter, and he does it here as Jace Brown gets the runner. And it's a 4-point lead going into the fourth quarter. We've got a great one here at Choctaw on Hill Kelly High School Hoops.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by New South Window Solutions.
8 minutes of basketball left to play, and it's certain to be pretty exciting 8 minutes. As Choctaw ended the third quarter on a 15-4 run over the last 5.5 minutes. 15-4 after trailing by 15 points at 46-31, and they close within 50-46. And here we go. Caleb Young. And it's Taiwan Thomas. Terrific game. Steal by Bowles.
There we go. That'll put him in double figures.
And it's now a 2-point ball game. A 15-point lead is down to 2. It is stolen by Elijah Johnson. A great play to knock it loose by Jace Brown. Watch him run the court. Knock loose, and PHS comes up with some defense, and the loose ball to Gaines. Wow.
What a wild turn of events that was. They're going to get a foul on Brown there. Reach in. It'll be his first. So our heating and air conditioning instant replay. Well, you talked about weathering the storm. Choctaw 15-4 run. PHS trying to hang on right here.
But, you know, the thing is, when you walk into this gym, the storm has begun. And so you really have to kind of attack it. I'm not saying pick up the tempo or whatever, but you still have to attack it. You still have to attack them.
Good for both. Yeah, absolutely. PHS has got to go back to their bread and butter.
So long way to go in a 4-point game. 7 minutes to go.
You know, PHS is thinking in the back of their mind. They know that run was coming. They felt it. They got to find a way to battle through it right here.
Brown to Bowles. Grant's giving him some really good minutes. Down low. Nice job defensively by PHS. Blackman comes up with it. Taiwan Thomas, that's blocked. That's a goaltend by Jamil Bowles. Four points now for Thomas. All of them here in the fourth quarter. Ezra McKenna up off the Choctaw bench. Elijah Johnson. And he'll go to the line. Isaiah Gaines says, hey, straight up holds his hands up, but it's on Gully, not on Gaines, and that's 4 on Gully.
Yeah.
McKenna will stay at the table because he's going in for Johnson. And again, Johnson threw up a couple of line drive free throws last time there. Neither one went.
There you go.
Check that. McKenna was going in for Grant.
Interesting to see McKenna here.
Yeah, he hit those 2 threes right off the start.
Been silent.
Been virtually silent since. Yeah, he's got 8 points. Got the roll on both free throws, did Elijah Johnson, and it's back down to 4. There's a foul hanging on. That's Jace Brown got a hand on Tywan Thomas's wrist. Foul call on Jace Brown. That is his second. Choctaw's over the limit. PHS goes to the line. Well, we've talked about how PHS has really shot free throws well tonight, but there are free throws and there are fourth quarter free throws.
Yes. And trust me, they are 2 completely different things right here. PHS trying to, well, virtually seal it just about at the line here. That's
1
big.
out of 2. 5-point PHS lead.
That's big for PHS. Every point means so much to the Tigers right now.
Johnson
Way to use your body.
It's now a 3-point game. Off of Johnson, out of bounds. It'll stay with PHS.
You know, one thing I'm noticing too, PHS, the lack of depth here. They're not able to sub as many guys. I mean, you look at Choctaw, they're subbing different units out there. PHS getting a little tired.
Young for 3. And a lot of times you'll see the fatigue in jump shots, 3-pointers, the legs are going.
I was about to say the same exact thing. That shot was falling in the first half.
Yep. So Gully gets a rest. Victor Dixon, number 13, checks in. So the 6'8" guy goes out, the 5'10" guy comes in.
That's how you draw it up, right?
It is it is the smaller lineup, obviously. And it's actually a relatively small lineup for Choctaw. It's not their big mismatch lineup, but they'll have the size advantage. Young to Bowles. And he'll back it up. Down 3. Stolen by Grant Gaines. He'll control it. Get it to the front court. Thomas has to get out of the corner. Blackman, see if they milk the clock a little bit. Just to kind of keep the pace at their pace right now. Inside to Gaines. Kicks it back at Thomas. Thought about it. Blackman. He's a good outside shooter, but he takes it instead. Wow, nice drive.
Great job by Blackman.
It's a huge possession.
Yes.
Well, Terrence Harris said their problem when they have a problem is they have a number of bad possessions. They have had very few bad trips down the floor tonight. And that foul is on Dixon.
You see Gaines talking to him. Just an unnecessary foul off the ball.
And you put a good free throw. In fact, you put a great free throw shooter on the line in Ezra McKenna. 23 for 24 this year.
Goodness gracious.
That's 96% right now. He's 24 for 25. Well, that's my fault.
You got one on you as well.
Yeah, one on me. 4-point game. Thomas.
Way to dribble through traffic right there. Uh-oh.
Yep. Those passes are dangerous, but they've got the athletes to maybe complete them, and one of the few teams probably gets away with that against Choctaw. And then nice job by Elijah Johnson to come up with a loose ball after it was deflected by Javaris Young. And once again, Choctaw could pull within 2 of the basket.
And Jace Brown, great job on the ball, pressuring PHS right there, helping create the turnover.
Choctaw, a lot of patience as we've got about 3:40 to play. They've had some looks at some threes and didn't take them. Instead, they go to Johnson inside, a chance for a three-point play. And the foul is on Gaines. It's only, well, they have 1 foul on the board. I have him for 2, but I think I might have marked him for 1 earlier incorrectly. So that's first foul on Gaines. Johnson cannot complete the three-point play, but man, almost coming up with the offensive rebound was Javaris Young. Caleb Young comes out with it. Dixon at the high post gets it back out to Caleb Young. And now he'll, with 3:20 to play, they'll back it up and see if they can have another good possession. Caleb Young dishes.
Great pass.
Three-point opportunity. Boy, they ran that as well as you could.
That'll be on Bowles. Boy, Gaines has been a delight to watch tonight.
I've been really impressed with well, both teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do need to take a timeout here. I'm just reminded, and we will next dead ball. Johnson inside to McKenna. Can't get it to go, and it gets it back.
Look at this right here.
McKenna. Boy, it is getting testy inside as it's squaring off. And we will, with McKenna's at the line. McKenna goes to the line. The foul is on Dixon inside. We do owe a timeout here. We try not to ice the shooters if we can help it. So we'll have 2:54 to play. We'll get a next dead ball.
That'll put McKenna in double digits.
Gully back in. Dixon comes out. Terrence Harris's coach has had kind of his hands up like, you know, what are you thinking? All right, we will take a timeout. Can we take a full timeout here? 2:54 to play. It'll be a 1-minute timeout. We'll take a break. 2:54 to play. Choctaw lead, or rather Choctaw has pulled within 2.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by New South Window Solutions.
2:54 to play here in the 4th quarter. We have a 2-point ball game. Choctaw pulling with it 59-57. PHS has led since they went on a 15-0 run in the first quarter. They took the lead at 11-9. They've led by as many as 15 in the second half. But it's 2 points now as Choctaw applies a defensive pressure. PHS tries to handle it. Trap Young, high post, that's Gully. Timeout, and they will stay right here as PHS takes the timeout, and we will keep it right here. And man, we've got quite a schedule coming up next week. Next Friday night, it'll be at Central. We'll be at Central. The Jaguars ranked #1 in the state in Class 1A, hosting Jay, who is ranked #3 in the state. You've got Trent Moy, the terrific guard for a terrific player for Central, averaging 20 points a game. Tristan Watson, the super sophomore for Jay, averaging just about 20, just under. Jay at Central next Friday night from Central. And beautiful Allentown. The first time we've been back there in a while. We were there our first year. We went to catch a Central Baker game, and what a great venue, what a great night that was. And we're looking forward to another great game next week.
Yeah, some small school basketball. Gotta love it. We get in the 4 and 5As every once in a while, maybe a 6A. We're going down to the 1A there. You gotta love it right there with Central and Jay. Like you said, beautiful Allentown. Not a whole lot out there, but beautiful, beautiful.
Well, it's like Hoosier night.
Yeah.
I mean, it really feels like it. It's a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. So
It's always fun.
All right. The one thing that PHS, although free throw shooting has been terrific tonight, it has they're a 50% free throw shooting team on the year, and so you only have 2 guys on the team who came into the game shooting better than 50% from the line. So if Choctaw has to foul, they'll have no shortage of people to choose from. I would not be fouling Gaines if I could help it. And the rebound pulled down by Johnson after McKenna kept it alive, and now Choctaw can tie it with 2:15 to play. Jace Brown down low ball. Oh, man, he almost threw it away as Gully looked like he had a steal, but Johnson did a great job to bat that ball back out to his own guys. Otherwise, we would have had a turnover. That was a terrific play by Johnson.
I don't know how he did that.
I don't either, without fouling either. Bowles, that foul may be before the shot attempt, probably, and it would be on Blackman. It is.
That's his 4th.
Nikayo Blackman picks up his 4th foul. Remember, PHS playing without Emmanuel McDuffie, who's still nursing a foot injury. He's only played, I believe, 4 or 5 games this year. He's expected back before too long, but you don't want to bring him back too soon and all of a sudden lose him for the playoffs.
Well, last time in this matchup, you didn't have Caleb Young along with McDuffie. Boy, Caleb Young's been huge tonight for the Tigers.
All right, trying to cut it to 1. Bowles missed them both. Jamil Bowles, 65% on the year, missed them both.
Oh, here's the pressure.
Thomas, front court, nice dish. Blackman. Minute and a half. Johnson. Boy, it got the roll. And a timeout called by Choctaw. 1:25 to play. Johnson with 10 points now.
Boy, oh boy.
Wow, what a 4th quarter we have.
Well, this is what we were hoping for here. Great back and forth right here. PHS obviously got down early, went on a run. Choctaw's been battling back the whole entire time. You see PHS, you talk about the depth of Choctaw. PHS is just hanging. For a little while, they were trying to eat some clock. Then they kind of went back to playing their game, and right now they got a 2-point lead.
Yeah, and we have, obviously, Gaines has 19 points to lead the way for PHS. He has 19, and Caleb Young has 18, so you have 37 of their 61 points from those 2. And then they're spread it out. They've gotten really, really good, terrific floor generalship for Taiwan Thomas. I'm not sure he's had a turnover tonight.
I don't believe so.
Against pressure, maybe one. I think they had but
Tadarius Gully's been great as well.
And Gully has been it's just been a terrific, Terrence Harris had said, we just can't waste possessions, and they have been as disciplined and as efficient at the offensive end as I've seen them in quite some time.
Yeah, this has been definitely an impressive night, but I'm telling you right now, young man Isaiah Gaines, he doesn't want any moral victories. He wants to come out of this one with a big win.
No, they're for a team ranked in the top 5 in the state in Class 4A. There aren't moral victories. You want to. Nice job. It's nice
Dangerous
job by Gaines to control that. Double teamed again, and McKenna came up empty. Gully gets it right, and they'll get it back out. Blackman to Gully, and he'll give it back out to the guard. Minute to go.
Oh, boy.
That ball's deflected. Bowles. Ties it up at 61.
Bowles got 12 tonight. Nothing bigger than that one.
That's the first time we've been even since 0-0. First time Choctaw's been even since PHS took an 11-9 lead. 38 seconds to go, and Pensacola High takes a timeout. Gives us a chance to reset things a little bit. That's 12 points now for Bowles. And one thing Choctaw's done is get a lot of balanced scoring. He's got 12, and Jace Brown has 11. McKenna has 11. Johnson has 10. So, but what they haven't gotten is the really, really big night from somebody. We thought McKenna might have that early, but now they got back to even from 15 down. And so 40.
Yeah, that with the depth, once again, you're seeing everybody give a little pitch in right here. Ezra McKenna started off hot, and he went cold. They had to come out of the game with some foul trouble. Guess what? Elijah Johnson's picked up some big points tonight. Boy, a lot of great Indians out there just giving some good minutes. So it's like we talked about with PHS, and that's why we're at a 61-61 tie.
And again, down the stretch, we've talked about the free throw shooting for PHS. They have hit 23 out of 34 free throws tonight. I mean, who would have believed that 23 of their 61 points would come from the line for a team that has really struggled from the line? But, you know, there you see Terrence Harris talking to his team, and he's really got them playing well. They have come a long way.
Like you had talked about earlier for PHS, you got to attack, though. That's how they've been able to put pressure on Choctaw. Typically, Choctaw puts pressure on everybody else. PHS has done a great job tonight, but they got to find a way to get some points here with 38 seconds
They
left.
have really handled the pressure well. And now they get for 38 seconds, they have to handle it again. And now Choctaw will take the timeout. Well, let's take a look at our full schedule coming up, because we're off to a great start this week in Hill Kelly High School hoops. We had a 3-point game last Tuesday in the girls' game between Pine Forest and Fort Walton Beach. A couple teams ranked in the top 5 in the state. And tonight, a couple more top 5 teams. And next week, 2 top 3 teams in 1A. Jay at Central. After that, Pine Forest is at Gulf Breeze. Reese Bloomberg, we've talked about him at Gulf Breeze, a junior guard, high scorer. He's one of the area's top scorers. So we'll see him on the 19th. Navarre at Pace. Boy, Pace off to a great start. Both those teams are much improved this year. Last time I checked Pace, I think they were 9-2. So that's on the 22nd. And then Catholic at home to Washington on January 26th to wrap up our 6-game schedule on Hill Kelly High School hoops here on WFGX. We are delighted you're here with us tonight. We hope you're enjoying this one.
Yeah, this one has not disappointed. It's as good as advertised, as good as we were hoping about. Of course, we were talking about it before the game, how we kind of thought it was going to play out. And I tell you what, we talk about how good Choctaw is. At home, undefeated, 6-0. I've been thoroughly impressed with PHS. We talked about when you said when they walk in the gym here at Choctaw, the storm's already here. You got to find a way to weather it. They've done a great job battling all night long.
Choctaw's last lead in this game was 9-8. And that was about 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. They led 9-2, and then PHS made their run. And so the last Choctaw lead was 9-8, but with 38 seconds to go and a tie game now, it is PHS inbounding it. And it'll be Shandaris Washington, Caleb Young in there, number 10, and he'll inbound it into the backcourt to Gaines and get it to Thomas. And here we go. 32 seconds left as he crosses the timeline. It's Washington. Thomas, almost fumbled it away. 17 seconds to go. Down to Gaines they go with 10 seconds. He's in the lane. You got to get rid of it in there. Washington, Gaines with 6. Gaines. Can't get it to go, and Choctaw calls timeout. One guy called timeout. One guy threw it the length of the court to beat the clock. And how much time is left?
2.1.
2 seconds, just over 2 seconds left. So Choctaw will have a chance to inbound it with 2 seconds. I don't know if you saw last night at Escambia and Milton, they went to overtime. They were tied in overtime. Escambia inbounding it from their baseline with, I think, 3.2 seconds to go. And Algie Stallworth hit a running three-pointer to give Escambia a 64-61 lead. So could we have, we don't have quite 3.2 seconds to go here, but we'll see.
You get 2.1, that's it. That'll be plenty of time for Choctaw.
You're not going to be able to make 2 passes and get a running 3, but they've got some guys who can hit the 3. There's no doubt about that. You know, McKenna is a 41% three-point shooter. Bowles, 53% on the year from three-point range. And then, of course, Asa Newell hadn't been in there. He's a 43%er. I'm not sure if they'll substitute here. You don't want to bring a guy in cold off the bench unless he's had a hot hand. Kyle Webb is a really smooth outside shooter.
So what you're saying is they have some options.
They have options. They have the options. They have a lot of people to go to. Javaris Young's 5 for 15 on threes. So if you're PHS, if you're Terrence Harris telling your team, first of all, you can't let him complete a long pass, inside, and man, you really cannot foul.
You cannot foul. This Choctaw team can shoot it at the line.
So with 2.1, if they complete the pass, someone's going to have to gather themselves and get off a good shot. If you just play good defense at that point, no need to foul. But the foul could be fatal in this one. All right. I was running down the three-point shooter just because you're thinking, hey, that's what you're going to get is an outside shot, but we'll see. Elijah Johnson's in there. He's at the end of the floor, the end of the offensive floor. They inbounded to Bowles, and he threw an underhanded shot, which went a little wide right. Nice defense without fouling in the backcourt. We're going to overtime.
How fitting.
It is Choctaw and PHS 61-61. And, man, we couldn't be happier about that.
No, absolutely not.
We're ready for a little more basketball. Put 4 minutes on the clock, and away we go.
And what an absolute special game.
All right. Well, we're talking about now foul trouble. Of course, Isaiah Bledsoe's been out with 4, and McKenna is playing with 4 for Choctaw. Pettis had 3 last I checked. Johnson had 3. And those are the foul trouble, those players in foul trouble for Choctaw. For PHS, Nikao Blackman has 4. And Tydarius Gully has 4. They're the only ones with that many, I believe.
Yep, that is correct.
Coin flip to decide who's going to get the ball to, and the coin is rolling under the bleachers.
Be PHS ball.
Yes, yeah, I guess it's PHS. I don't know. It's like playing backgammon. If the dice have to stay on the board, I don't know. Does the coin have to stay actually in the gym?
How fitting if that coin would have went underneath our bleachers here.
Nice save, Devin.
Yeah, great job.
Our
Devin,
red hat, Devin, who's down there making sure that she's keeping the refs in line. She's the one who signals them for timeouts, and the coin is rolling towards her. I think she was a kick save and a beauty. All right, 61-61. Choctaw last led. It was 9-8 in the first quarter. PHS led by as many as 15. In the third quarter, they led 46-31. Choctaw went off on a 17-4 run to pull within 2 early in the fourth quarter. First basket of the fourth quarter made it a 2-point game, and it has been a fight ever since. Here we go. Overtime at Choctaw. Man-to-man. Choctaw going man-to-man. And Gaines draws the foul as he goes down the lane. And I think they called it on Young, helping out defensively. They did. Javaris Young called for the foul.
Will be his third.
That is his third. And so Gaines to the free throw line. Shooting 2. And the same thing applies to fourth quarter free throws in overtime.
Even more so in OT.
Exactly. One out of 2, and PHS regains the lead. Jameel Bowles, the senior, out front. He'll run the show from there. McKenna and Johnson step up with the little 1-4 set here, and Choctaw's happy to sit there and sort of figure things out. The 2 wings now go down to the baseline. Brown back out to Bowles. They would love to let Jamil Bowles at 6'5" drive to the basket and either get to the line or Johnson's looking for a lob over Gully.
It's got to be quite a lob.
1 minute gone in overtime. Well, I don't know if you're old enough to remember the old days, the pre-shot clock days in college basketball. But
that's exactly what I was thinking about.
Kind of had that feel for a second. All right, now we get there's Young, Javaris Young guarded, man-to-man by Blackman. That's Chase Brown with Thomas on him. 2.5 to go in overtime. Bowles drives on Gaines, cuts him off. It goes out of bounds off of Gaines. It'll stay with Choctaw. McKenna to inbound it. To Jace Brown. He hit some runners at the end of the first quarter and the end of the third quarter. Thomas, nice job on him.
Choctaw reset.
Man-to-man, but they're letting, they're not going to go out and challenge Bowles that far away from the basket. Javaris Young hounded by Blackman. He's playing with 4 fouls. Here comes Bowles and Brown, little weave. McKenna, almost tied up by Gaines. Gets it to Brown on the sideline, and back out to Bowles. 1:44 in overtime. We've had 2 possessions in overtime.
I love it.
This is the second possession, and we played almost 2.5 minutes. Down the lane he goes, and it's passed to Johnson. Nice job by Elijah Johnson to control it. Boy, that was a huge play by the big guy. And Choctaw leads by 1.
Now the momentum has swung in the other direction. This crowd is getting into it.
1 point Choctaw lead. Their first lead since it was 9-8. Down low, there's Gaines working on Johnson, and a 3-point opportunity for Gaines.
They're going to call that on Bowles.
Wow. Maybe reaching in from behind, but heating and air replay. Bowles is talking, so yeah, he obviously got the foul, his third. Now, can he complete a 3-point play? Big free throw. He's 2 out of 3 from the line here in overtime. The 3-point play makes it a 2-point game. PHS leading 65-63. 48 seconds to go as Bowles comes into the front court. Choctaw will not be as patient this time. Inside to Johnson. And a foul before the shot attempt, which is huge. They called it on Blackman for backing in. If so, that's his 5th foul. It is. But the flip side of that is that Elijah Johnson is not a great free throw shooter. 52%. He throws up some low-line drives up there. It's hard to get a bounce. And he needs 2 to tie with 39 seconds.
To box out of your PHS.
1 out of 2. 1 point PHS lead. Here comes the full court pressure from Choctaw. Okay, PHS has handled the pressure very well all day.
Uh-oh.
Until Bowles came up with that steal. To Young. Loses it, and a great rebound by Thomas. And a timeout from PHS as Young hit the 3-pointer falling out of bounds, but it didn't matter. PHS called the timeout. He called the timeout with a pass in the front court, and I think Choctaw may be complaining that they thought the possession was in doubt. But PHS will call the timeout. I'm not sure. Reading the explanation now from referee Keith Bradshaw. I guess they just called the timeout. 21.2 seconds to go. And a technical foul on Ezra McKenna. That's what we're getting, I guess. We are. That was Young. Man, I tell you, he lost it on the way up. I thought he had a really good look. And that's what it was. He got the technical, complaining about not getting a foul call. So Caleb Young goes to the free throw line to shoot the free throws.
Boy, oh boy. That cannot happen if you're Choctaw.
Young has hit his last 6 free throws.
Ice in the young man's veins right there.
Two-point. This would give PHS a 3-point lead.
There it is.
8 free throws in a row for Caleb Young. He has 20 to go with Gaines 23. And PHS will keep the ball with a 3-point lead with 21 seconds to go.
Get it to your best free throw shooter right here. Your PHS.
Well, you've got 2 of them, actually 3 of them right now. Thomas out there, number 0. The man right there, number 10, who's hit 8 in a row. Caleb Young, the junior, and Gaines. They're 4 out of 5 from the line here in overtime.
Terrence Gaines trying to explain himself a little bit.
And now PHS will take a timeout.
There we go.
I disappeared for a second because I was listening to Terrence. I had to take the headsets off to listen to PHS coach Terrence Harris plead his case with referee Keith Bradshaw. He said, I never called a timeout. It was an inadvertent whistle, the timeout that they called around the time the technical was called on McKenna when PHS was running the ball up the floor. And so they called a timeout PHS, and Terrence Harris said, I never called a timeout, you know. Anyway, now he wants the timeout. He got the timeout. He also got the technical foul, and he gets the ball with 21 seconds to go. And this is not done because Choctaw's going to apply the defensive pressure down 3, and we've seen them force some turnovers. We've seen them force turnovers where they had a chance to make a run and not get the most out of it on a break or whatever. But they certainly are capable, more than capable of coming up with a big play to get the turnover.
Well, you may see Choctaw here just apply some pressure for about 10 seconds or so. If they can't get it, then they'll foul because they are very likely to get a turnover here.
PHS is now, they've shot 39 free throws and made 27 of them.
That is a complete turnaround.
I mean, if they shot, their normal percentage, they'd have maybe 19. It's an 8-point difference there.
Be losing in this ball game.
Yep. All right, here we go. And a foul, and they foul Taiwan Thomas. And the foul is on Isaiah Bledsoe, it's his 5th, I believe. That's Bledsoe's 5th foul. And so Taiwan Thomas will go to the free throw line, 62%. And with 17.3 seconds to go, a chance to get 1 out of 2, and it's a 4-point ball game. It's a little bit early to be writing an epitaph at that point, but two possession is huge at this point.
Kyle Webb will check into the ball game for Choctaw.
Three-point shooter, terrific shooter. Palm. %70 from the line tonight they are.
What a big free throw as well.
All right, here they come. It's a 4-point game. PHS 68-64. Bowls. 11 seconds to go, and Choctaw calls timeout, and it's a 2-point game.
We got 14 for Bowls so far.
How many do you have for him?
14.
14, yeah.
Well, for Choctaw, that's about as good as you can draw it up.
Yeah.
Quick points.
Johnson checks back in. Choctaw looking for their 11th straight win. They've only, 13-1. The one game they lost, Escambia beat them by 13 right around, before Christmas. And they've run off 10 straight wins since then. They've averaged, their average margin of victory is about 18 a game.
Tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out, because our Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram player of the game could be anybody.
Well,
on both these squads, the way they played tonight.
Yeah, if the margin stays red, it's got to be Gaines.
Yes.
Although Caleb Young has really played well,
Yeah.
but Gaines was the one when they were making the run. Gaines was impossible to handle.
That's
But yeah, I tell you, if Choctaw rallies to win this thing, then who do you pick?
Yeah, absolutely. Caleb Young, we talked about it before. Him and Emmanuel McDuffie were not in this matchup last time. Big difference maker there. But Gaines was the guy you're talking about, going to play at the next level. You want to see guys, the cream, rise to the top in matchups like this, and he has done exactly that tonight.
$10.4 to go. Choctaw looking for a steal. If they can't get it, then the foul. Down 2. Inbounded to Young, and there's the foul by Bowles, and Caleb Young will go to the line with 7.7. That's 4 fouls on Jamil Bowles. So going to the line will be Caleb Young.
Coming into this game, averaging 11 points per game. I think he's far and beyond that tonight. That'll be his 21st point. Wow.
Hits them both. He has been rock solid at the line. He's missed 1 free throw all night. So 70-66. Second straight night that Choctaw's gone overtime. They won 74-70 last night in Crestview, and they're down 4 with 7 seconds to go on their home court here against PHS.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see how they play this. Remember last time, obviously some quick points running down there, running out of some time. Tell you what, for PHS, though, Caleb Young, my goodness, 22 points tonight, stepping up in big, big moments all throughout the game. Those were some tremendous free throws. This top 5 matchup is not disappointed once again. Choctaw number 2, 5A, PHS number 5 and 4A. Tell you what, we've done Friday Night Rivals with some football games that get out of hand.
Yeah.
You know, you're always trying to find that good matchup. We have got a couple good ones here. That's high school hoops. This has been a blast.
We're hearing from the coaches on the Choctaw bench, finally a game worth showing. We've had some good fortune with some good basketball games here, but Choctaw's blown some people out on our broadcast. And this is a heck of a game. All right, Choctaw down 4, 7.7. PHS will pick up probably token pressure full court. And stolen by Thomas. And they've got to foul him with 4.5.
That may be all she wrote right there.
That could be. Thomas it's a postscript on Caleb Young. 22 points. He's 11 for 12 from the free throw line tonight.
That is awesome.
So Choctaw, well, 4 seconds to go. Man. Eight for 10 from the line in overtime. I knew that was missing as soon as I said it. All right. Bowles trying to draw the foul. Throws up the three. It goes. But it just provides the margin. 71-69 is the final. Huge win for Pensacola High School as they win in overtime. They weathered the storm, leading by 15. And then watching Choctaw come back to take the lead in overtime. And PHS responding from the free throw line and handling that pressure. A great all-around performance, and Pensacola High gets out of here with a 71-69 win. We will be back to congratulate the Tigers and wrap this thing up on the post-game show in just a minute.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by New South Window Solutions.
All right, what a game we have seen here at Choctaw. Pensacola High in overtime, beating the Choctaw Indians, who are ranked second in the state in Class 5A, 71-69, and joined by the Tigers and head coach Terrence Harris. And you were talking, when we were talking this morning, you were talking about, not wasting possessions, being efficient and just handling the challenges efficiently. I don't think I've seen maybe a total game. I may have never seen you play a more efficient game. Did you feel this is about as good as it gets for you right now?
This was definitely our best game of the year. Yeah, I mean, we took care of the basketball. We didn't have a lot of turnovers, and it was a big change from last night where we missed a lot of free throws, and we made free throws tonight. And I think the free throws for us was the difference.
Yeah, I had you. I think the last I checked, you were 31 for 45. That's mean, you're like 70% tonight, which is really close. But you handled the pressure when they came out to pressure. You handled the first. They had two waves right at the very beginning, and then they made the run at you. And why were you? And you didn't get fast. You didn't get too fast. You didn't get anxious. So what do you attribute that to?
Just talking about it all week. I mean, that was going into this week, working in practice about having quality possessions, not throwing away possessions, making sure we're getting good shots. And I think that, we did a good job last night, and then tonight we came back and, we did a better job. They were able to, they did a good job of, okay, there was times where we got fast and then we were able to kind of pull it back after a possession or two. I mean, we've had games where we have 5 possessions, 6 possessions, not scoring, not getting free throws, getting bad shots, and we needed to do a better job of that tonight.
I would assume this is the kind of game that it really is a good teaching game for you. I mean,
it is. Yeah. I mean, this is definitely the best team that we've played all year. I definitely think that they are worthy of that number 2 ranking in the state with their size and their length and their athleticism, and we just need to play a complete game.
Well, we had Isaiah Gaines was just brilliant throughout, and he was a pretty easy choice for player of the game. But Caleb Young was so good as well. So you had to respond a couple of times. I mean, this is a great team effort across the board, but we couldn't really. We wanted to pick 2 players of the game. So we will tell them that they don't get to keep the trophy.
That's right. Okay.
But Isaiah Gaines, Isaiah we had with 23, and Caleb with 22, and those guys. And you didn't have Caleb last time you played these guys. So what they give you, and what did you see out of their game tonight?
Well, it just when you have all of your guys, I think it gives the whole team an overall confidence. In the last games that we played without a full crew, it was as though everybody was just kind of going through the motions. They were just not on point. And tonight, it really, having Caleb back really helped a lot. I think that he's a player that other teams have to focus on because of his ability. And tonight for us, some other guys were able to kind of not feel like they needed to take on his role because he was there to fill it.
Well, they are our Hill Kelly players of the game, and we've been watching some of the plays of the game by Closets by Design, and now the Hill Kelly Trophy presentation. Devin, do the honors. Congratulations to the Tigers.
Thank you. I'll let them hold it. long as they don't break it.
Okay, yeah, don't break it. Well, Terrence Harris and the PHS Tigers, great win, third in a row, and the fifth-ranked team in the state moves to 11-2. Congratulations! What a great win here tonight at Choctaw. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
All righty. Terrence Harris and the PHS Tigers coming out of Choctaw with a tremendous 71-69 win in overtime. Jeff, that was just terrific. Great stuff.
I mean, that's it. That's all you can say about that game. It was as good as advertised. I mean, look, Choctaw battled back. PHS, they were the storm tonight. We talk about them weathering the storm. Turns out they give Choctaw their first loss at home.
All right, that'll wrap it up for Jeff and me and our entire crew here at Hill Kelly High School Hoops. We'll see you next Friday night in Allentown. Central hosting Jay, which, it's going to have a tough game to top, but they might be able to do it, those two teams. We'll see you next Friday night here on Hill Kelly High School Hoops. Once again, the final score, Pensacola High 71, Choctaw 69 in overtime. Good night, everybody.